It's that time of year again, the start of the baseball season and basketball's home stretch. Goodyear knows that performance is everything, whether it's on the road or on the court or field. So when it comes to choosing tires, let Goodyear.com help you choose what's best. Goodyear, more driven.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
Hey, it's Jalen. First everybody.
What up, Dow?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in. Center stage on the mic.
And we
trying to
put
trap
it
me
on
now.
wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen Jacoby. What do we do?
We give people what they want.
We give the people what they want, and part of giving the people what they want is communicating with the people, interacting with the people, taking the voicemails at 98580-JALEN. Listen to the Twitter from our @Jalen and Jacoby account. Going to the subreddit, reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby. All of those things are one way that we interact with the people. We get your feedback. We get your questions. You are a part of this show. Jalen, I have an announcement. We have another level, the way we can interact with our people, the way we can get closer, get better feedback. We're announcing 2 live shows right now on the program.
That's what I'm talking about.
2 new live shows. They're both going to be in New York City. April 30th, Monday night. Tuesday night, May 1st, at the Gramercy Theater. Legendary venue. Tickets are available starting tomorrow, Wednesday the 11th. They go on sale at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on SeatGeek.com. Get the SeatGeek app. Again, that is April 30th, May 1st at the Gramercy Theater in New York City. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Make sure you get the SeatGeek app. If you don't have the SeatGeek app and you want to join us at the Gramercy Theater on Monday and Tuesday, the 30th and the 1st, here's what you do. Download the SeatGeek app, put it on your phone, and dirty secret, if you're the first-time purchaser, put in the code Jacoby, you get $20 off the tickets.
Oh, dope.
Join us April 30th and May 1st in New York City at the legendary Gramercy Theater. We look forward to that. We always love doing the live shows. The feedback from the people is amazing. We always have some giveaways. We have a meet and greet. You can take pictures with us, talk to us, get signatures, whatever you want. It is one of my favorite things to do. I love those evenings, and I cannot wait for the end of this month when we will be in New York City, one of my many hometowns.
New York! Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. Nothing you can do. We gonna be in New York, New York, New York.
Jalen Rose, we always pride ourselves on being a little different. You know what I mean? We try to be different. We try to be innovative on this program. So one thing we haven't done yet is, Jalen, who did you vote for all the different awards? We haven't really done that. But there are a couple that I want to talk to you about. We know who's going to win the MVP. You know, it's over. We know who's going to win the Rookie of the Year. I don't care how much controversy that these 2 players and the media try to drum up. We know it's going to be Ben Simmons. It's just a matter of question of how many people vote for Ben Simmons. But I want to ask you this question. Who did you vote for Coach of the Year in the National Basketball Association?
I'm voting for Quinn Snyder, Utah Jazz.
Ooh, tell me why.
Slight edge over Brett Brown of the Philadelphia 76ers. It's almost working in reverse with the Rookies of the Year. And the reason why is when you look at the trajectory of the Utah Jazz, coming into the season, they lost Gordon Hayward. During the season, they traded Rodney Hood. They lost Rudy Gobert for a significant amount of time, and he's developed new talent. Ricky Rubio has been terrific for them. Joe Ingles came out of nowhere making threes. Also as a playmaker, having Donovan Mitchell lead the team in scoring. I marvel at the job he's been able to do for a team that also plays in the Western Conference.
Could I make a case, pun intended, for Dwayne Casey? Because we always talk about expectations versus results. And I think that the Raptors did not expect to be the number one seed. The Raptors did not expect to be this good. And the way that they've changed their offensive and defensive systems and an evolution has obviously worked for them. The way you talk about getting a lot out of young talent, you look at that bench that the Raptors have, and Casey has been able to take players that you had never heard of, like Van Vliet, and turn them into NBA people that are now sort of part of the conversation. Was he on your mind when you made that vote?
Absolutely. And the perception of doing more with less always comes into account. But when you look on paper at the Toronto Raptors, other than the Cleveland Cavaliers, many people thought the Raptors, the Wizards, and the Celtics would be in the conversation because those are the squads that have been knocking on the door for the most part the last handful of years, versus the Utah Jazz team that didn't make that barely made the playoffs last year. They were an 8th seed. Now they're a higher seed with lesser talent, and Quinn Snyder's just done a terrific job with that squad. So has Dwayne Casey for all of the reasons that you mentioned, but he also has the luxury of coaching 2 All-Stars, and DeMar DeRozan, who improved his three-point shot, as well as Kyle Lowry, whereas the Utah Jazz had 0 All-Stars this year.
It's a good point. I think that the Jazz were the 5 seed last year, beat the Clippers, and then lost to the Warriors. But I will say that was a completely different team. And one thing that I would say against Dwayne Casey is I think part of Coach of the Year is kind of what you mentioned, is dealing with adversity, making the most of what you have. And for the most part, and I know Toronto fans are going to get on me for this, they've been pretty healthy this year. Like they've been very healthy this year. Sure, some guys miss some games here and there, but they haven't had to deal with what the Jazz have had to deal with, losing Rudy Gobert, who may just be my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. Who did you vote for there?
I'm going to officially do my voting probably Thursday or Friday. We need to turn in the ballots on the 13th by midnight. But the 2 candidates that stand out for me are, you mentioned Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. He also should get mentioned in this conversation because he gives you the blocks and the defensive presence. But also when you talk about defense, you have to take into account rebounds because the possession isn't over until that happens. Oh, and I'll have a flagrant omission I have to interject into the conversation.
Okay. What's that?
And pole ball him to the number 1 spot, actually. Tripping. The Defensive Player of the Year is Anthony Davis.
Okay. Explain why.
Because they're, again, a team that outplayed expectations. They're in the playoffs. He gives me the boards. He gives me the blocks. He had a 10-block game this year. And he's still, by the way, throw up 30 if you ever need it. So those 3 guys are the guys I'm going to have to really break down their numbers and figure a true winner. But just off the dome, he probably gets the nod.
So take us behind the curtain real quick on voting these. I think I saw you did it last year. You have like a password. It's an online thing. Like, how's it work?
It's really professional. Okay. It's really foolproof. Attorneys involved and law firms and stuff like that, just to protect the validity of what's happening. It's nothing like you voting for the All-Star game, I'll tell you that. You can vote 1,000,000 times for one person in the All-Star game, and then we call that a popularity contest.
I promise you right now, it's going to take you at least 3 or 4 tries to log on to the system. I promise. You're going to get a little stressed out. Yeah, I know you. You're going to wait for the last second because you want to get it right, because I know you're very precise and you take this stuff seriously. And you're going to wait for the last second to take in all the information. And then it's going to be like 11 o'clock Eastern on Friday night, maybe a couple glasses of wine. And you're going to be like, wait, where's that passcode? How do I sign in again? And you're going to have to call a couple people, and then you'll finally get it done. I know that's what's going to happen. You ready to give the people what they want? Let's give them what they want.
Sport Clips presents Haircut Highlight Reels featuring Rick.
Hey, everyone.
Let's roll the highlights. There goes Rick, stepping up to a championship haircut, experienced. Oh, he checked in online, so he's posting up at the front of the line. Did you see that? Rick threw down for the legendary MVP experience. Hairstyle, beard trimmed. What a dominating performance!
I really didn't do much.
Be a champion like Rick. Get in line online at sportclips.com/check-in and get your hair in the game.
There was a big game between the Heat and the Thunder last night. I was watching it. The Thunder got down 23-5 to start the game in Miami. It looked really bad. They came back and won and have now clinched a playoff berth in the very competitive Western Conference. Jalen, are the Thunder the biggest threat to the top 3 or 4 seeds in the Western Conference?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. There's a chance they may end up in the 6th spot officially. If that's the case, you go from having to play against the Rockets or the Warriors without Steph Curry in the first round, which you're definitely not going to win or be the favorite, to possibly play against the Portland Trail Blazers, another team that people didn't feel would make it to that level of success at this point in the season, led by Damian Lillard. And Nurkic has been terrific getting boards and getting points also. That's going to be an intriguing matchup if you get a chance to see Portland versus OKC. So that will work out in their best interest to not have to face one of those top 2 teams, therefore giving them a chance to possibly meet their expectations that not only they thought, but most people like ourselves thought would happen when they added Paul George and Carmelo Anthony.
Absolutely true. They could also end up facing the Jazz. The Jazz could end up in the 3 seed. It's all complicated. One thing that's not very complicated is Russell Westbrook wants to average a triple-double. Last night against the Heat, he had 18 rebounds, meaning in the final game of the season, he needs 16 boards to average a triple-double. Take us behind the curtain, Jalen Rose. Does Russell Westbrook tell his teammates, get out the way and let me get the rebounds?
He doesn't have to, because you just called them teammates. And so they understand what's at stake, the historical ramifications of a guy not only averaging a triple-double, but doing it in back-to-back seasons for the first time since the Big O was doing it 40, 50 years ago. And here's something that's really going to work in his favor. Do you know who they play in the final game?
No, I don't.
They play the Memphis Grizzlies, and they miss a lot of shots.
Yes, they do. There'll be a lot of opportunities.
They miss a lot of shots.
And the Memphis Grizzlies, I don't even know who they're going to trot out to play against the Thunder in that game. But I think that the Thunder are going to secure a win. And I bet Russell Westbrook secures 15 rebounds in the first half and then gets one more in the second half just to seal the deal. Very intriguing night Wednesday in the NBA that you gave me a great transition into. There's some very big games with a lot on the line. Thunder Grizzlies, not one of those. However, we're going to play a little game of who you got in these big games. The biggest game is in Minnesota. It is the Nuggets going into Minnesota to play the Thunder. This is essentially a play-in game for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Winner is in, loser is out. Who do you have winning this big game on Wednesday night?
Shout to Jimmy Butler and getting himself healthy and being a factor at this point in the season during this playoff race. Karl Anthony Towns was terrific while he was out. Wiggins has showed flashes of why they paid him a big contract, but not necessarily consistency. I feel like playing at home definitely gives them the edge, but I'm going to pick the Denver Nuggets.
Ooh, I like it.
No player has been more productive recently than Jokic other than MVP candidates. Giving the points, the assists, can shoot the 3. He's a guy that's come out of nowhere. So if you're looking for a bandwagon to jump on, the Denver Nuggets can be one. I'm not sure if Gary Harris is going to be able to play.
He's back.
But Murray is going to be. Murray's been terrific. Barton, who's going to be a free agent this summer, has played himself like a starter most of the year. So I just feel like going on the road, Denver, and Wilson Chandler is going to have a big game. We'll find a way to win.
I absolutely love what Jamal Murray is doing in Denver. If you don't watch a lot of Denver games, you live in the East Coast, I totally understand they're not the sexiest team to watch in the league. But Jamal Murray and Jokic are very formidable and playing great every night, which would put them in this position to play themselves into the playoffs against the Timberwolves. The next game, which has a lot on the line, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. This is the Trailblazers hosting the Jazz. This is now going to decide who is the 3 seed and who is the 4 seed in the Western Conference. The Trailblazers are kind of hot and cold. They were very hot for a while there. They've cooled a little bit lately. Do you think they could pull out the win against the Jazz?
I think there's a good shot. Home court advantage is always going to be a key. How about the dynamic that both of these teams are going to actually host a first-round playoff matchup?
I know.
Regardless of what happens in this game, the Portland Trail Blazers and the Utah Jazz will actually be two of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. And this is what happens when a team like the Spurs, who's consistently had greatness and they're without their all-NBA performer, they leave some wins on the table. Other teams like this grab them. I'm going to not underestimate the Utah Jazz like I've done in the past. Ricky Rubio finds a way to have a good game. The Utah Jazz end up with the 3 spot.
Oh, I disagree. I got Video Game Dame in the hometown Portland Trail Blazers winning that one and getting the 3 seed and then setting up a great matchup. But you don't know who they're going to play in the 3 seed because there's still some jockeying for seeding position. And one of the games that will decide that will be the Spurs-Pelicans. Both teams are in the playoffs, but they're jockeying for seedings. Which team do you think will win this game tomorrow night?
Who has home court?
I'm not sure. I believe it is in New Orleans.
Pelicans, they have the best player, Anthony Davis. Rajon Rondo's had a resurgence this year with his ball handling and his ability to create. I know you saw the lob he threw to Anthony Davis up the backboard.
Yep.
And Drew Holiday. Shout to Alvin Gentry. They've played well. The Pelicans get that spot.
Jalen Rose, the Cavs beat the Knicks last night. They play the Knicks once again on Wednesday night to close the season. However, there's something very remarkable about that game on Wednesday night. If LeBron James plays Wednesday, which he will, it will be the first time in his career that he plays 82 games in a season. He currently averages just over 37 minutes a game. In this era of rest and resting healthy players and rest being so important, do you think this lack of rest will affect LeBron and the Cavs as they make their playoff run?
Not at all. I think it's a terrific, amazing, wonderful accomplishment to be in his 15th year, leading the league in average minutes and playing all 82 games. Truly impressive for a team that had to reinvent itself multiple times this season. Talk about earlier in the year when they had Kyrie Irving in training camp. Then you had Isaiah Thomas. He was in and out of the lineup. Then they trade him, and then they add 4 new players. And for LeBron James to be the constant has been truly impressive for a guy that's improved at the free throw line, improved at the three-point line, averaged more triple-doubles, has had more triple-doubles this season than any other season in his career has been truly remarkable.
Okay, Jalen, you know me. You know I'm a bit of a LeBron James stan. Openly a bit of a LeBron James stan. I picked the Cavs to win last year, and I remember the finals very well. I remember every quarter of the finals. And I remember LeBron James in the first half dunking on people, scoring well, the games being pretty close. And LeBron James in the second half looked tired in most of those 5 finals games. I feel that he was fatigued as it got to the end of the season, especially in the second half of those games. You don't think that all this wear and tear and all that he's been through this year, if they were to get that far, would not affect him and the team as they got to the finals?
Not at all, because you still have a 2-month burn between now and then. That's why it's important to take care of your first round series to get some rest, take care of your second round series to get some rest. The conference finals is a little more of a dogfight, and then play your best battle ultimately in the NBA Finals. But if he didn't play but 8 games this year, I'm not sure too many people have picked them if they played against the Warriors and their 4 All-Stars. And probably the same could be said for the Houston Rockets, who have been terrific also this year.
Hard to believe that baseball season is here. As fans, we demand a lot from our teams. And a new season means not only hope that our teams will do us proud, but a renewed drive and commitment by players and coaches to start strong and finish strong. Goodyear strives to make tires that do the same, to go further, faster, and longer. They're inspired by those who put in the work and effort needed to succeed. So if you demand superior performances from your team, why not do the same for your tires? When it comes to choosing tires, choose right at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
Remember Andrew Luck? Football player, quarterback for the Colts. He used to play a while ago, and he was really, really good when he played. However, he had some shoulder surgery, didn't exactly rehab the way that he thought it was going to, and he gave the Colts fans an update on that surgery yesterday.
I've not picked up the Duke and started throwing it yet, and I don't want to skip steps. I'm trusting the process that I'm in right now very, very much. I'm trusting myself in this process. And when the time is right, I'll pick it up.
Jalen, he has not thrown a football. He's a quarterback. He has not thrown a football. To me, this is huge news, and this is concerning if I was a Colts fan. Should the Colts be concerned about Andrew Luck's rehab?
Absolutely. A knockout prospect that could do it with his legs and do it with his arms. People felt like he was going to be the game-changing, franchise-level quarterback that carried them for decades. Maybe injuries are going to derail that. Also, personnel issues. They never truly gave him an offensive line. He also doesn't have a running game. But it is concerning that he has not thrown a football. I appreciate the fact that he called it the Duke.
Yeah,
I was about to say, da-ha, da-ha, da-ha-ha-ha-ha, way down upon a swampy river.
Didn't your godfather have something to do with that song or something?
Far, far away. Willow, Willow, Willow.
All right, now you lost me, Jalen. All right, so Jalen, I really want Andrew Luck to be back. I've never rooted against somebody, especially when it comes to injuries and things like that. However, there is one implication about this that doesn't bother me at all. More Jacoby Brissett! More Jacoby Brissett! More Jacoby Brissett! When Jacoby Brissett leads the Colts to the first undefeated season and the Super Bowl victory, and he's Super Bowl MVP, and they will inaugurate him in the Hall of Fame at the end of this season. That's my prediction. Remember where you heard it first. Jacoby Brissett, the future MVP of the NFL next season. You said that Andrew Luck does it with his arms and his legs. Well, one football player that definitely does it with his legs is a gentleman by the name of Marquette King. We all know Marquette King. We all know who he is. He is the swaggiest. Oh, we're not using the word swag. It was retired. He is a flamboyant punter in the NFL. And we all know that he plays for the Raiders. And the Raiders had a new head coach named John Gruden, our former colleague. And in preparation for the meeting, Marquette King brought his new head coach a peace offering. Wanted to make a good first impression. He brought him Snicker bar and a bottle of limoncello. However, before he could deliver this duo of a gift, he was cut from the Raiders. My question for you, Jalen Rose, is a combination of a Snickers bar and limoncello bottle an appropriate gift for your new head coach?
Not at all. You here to play games. We moving to Vegas. They just gave me $100 million. Khalil Mack is not in camp. I ain't here for that right now. That's number one. Number two, Marquette King, more importantly, is the friend of the program. We must have him on. Now a member of the Denver Broncos. He represents the minority clearly at his position, being a punter in the NFL.
In a lot of ways. Here's the thing that I want to say about this combination of gift is anyone who's been to a liquor store knows exactly what happened. He was driving on his way over. He said, oh, man, I forgot. I got to get it. It's like you're going to a house party and you forgot to get something. You're just looking around for somewhere to stop. He definitely stopped at the liquor store and was just like, candy bar and a bottle of booze, I guess. That's what I'm going to get him. That was not a premeditated gift, but shout out to Marquette King.
Shout out.
Baseball season is here. As baseball season kicks off, all the players are fresh-faced, they're all healthy, and they've got a renewed drive and commitment from the players and the coaches to start the season strong and to finish the season strong. Guess what? You want the same thing from your tires. You want your tires to start strong, and you want them to finish strong. You want them to go further, to go faster, to go longer. Get the Shohei Ohtani of tires. Get Goodyear tires. They make more than blimps, man. They make the best tires in the game. They're inspired by the people that put in the work and the effort to succeed. These tires will succeed as well. If you demand superior performance from your teams, why don't you demand the same from your tires? If you demand a superior tire, make sure when you're choosing tires that you choose the right tire. That's a Goodyear tire. Get those tires at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven. Jalen Rose, you know what time it is? The NBA regular season is almost over. It's time for the Cavs to sign Kendrick Perkins. Perk back. How many minutes a game in the playoffs do you think Kendrick Perkins is going to average?
Oh, average? 0.7.
Okay. Not bad. What do you think he adds to this Cleveland Cavaliers roster?
A veteran, toughness, more fouls, size in case something happens to Tristan Thompson. And I get it. When you look at footage of him playing, it almost resembles somebody that's running uphill in combat boots. But at this point of his career, for him to go play in the G League, understanding that the Cavs will sign him later in the year. Keep getting them checks, big fella.
I love Kendrick Perkins. I also love this next story. Andre Ingram of the G League was called into his office by the front office for his exit interview.
Nick, what's going on?
I know we're supposed to meet tomorrow, but we had to move the exit meeting up to today because the LA Lakers want to call you up and sign you for the rest of the season.
I wonder why those two big guys are back here. Wow.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Welcome to
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, boss. They called me up for the last 2 games of the season.
Do you know what makes that video so powerful? Do you know what really brings it home for me? Is the premature gray hair. That video is not as good if he's not gray. Because of all the premature gray, I've got it too. It makes you seem older than you are. It makes it seem like he's been in the G League for 20 years instead of 10. Jalen, what do you think about Andre Ingram getting his call up?
First and foremost, I'm excited for him. I think he's going to go out and make a couple of threes and try to excite the crowd. It's going to be a terrific opportunity, and it's also great promotion for the G League, who continues to try to show that they can make news and ultimately sway players that don't want to go to college and hope not to play overseas to go straight from high school and join their league.
And finally, we have my favorite story of the day. A woman was pulled over by police in Pittsburgh. The police in Pittsburgh smelled marijuana in her vehicle, searched her vehicle, found marijuana and cocaine in her purse. It was a particularly windy day in Pittsburgh. The woman claimed that the wind blew the marijuana and cocaine through the window and into her purse. Again, the wind blew the marijuana and cocaine into her window and into her purse. Here's what I have to say. In the justice system, the burden of proof is on the side of the law, okay? And I have no evidence, and I'm sure they do not either, that is not exactly what happened. Jalen Rose, do you think the wind blew the cocaine and marijuana into this woman's purse?
I do not believe that.
What? How do you know?
In any way, shape, or form.
How do you know that's not what happened?
However, it is a really good alibi.
I love it.
It's a really good one.
Listen,
people, I'm pretty sure the people that follow our program
are going to use that.
They're like, I'm going to use that.
We always say we give the people what they want. Part of that is interacting with the people. We take our Twitter questions and we take our voicemails. Don't forget, ladies.
Hey, ladies!
Make sure you leave voicemail messages for us tomorrow. We can take those. Call 985-80-JALEN. Leave us your messages. Right now, we're taking all callers. Reg, play the first one.
What up, though? Jalen, Jacoby, shout out. Shout out, Reg. Shout out to the whole staff. All right, y'all. I had to call in because I'm listening to one of the previous pods from this week. And, I'm hearing a little blasphemy. We're getting rid of the air horn? Come on, man. The air horn is the staple of this pod. It's like you guys trademarked it. Every time, where's Jalen and Jacoby? Air horn. You guys just can't get rid of that. You can't. Come on, man. I thought y'all give the people what they want. And the people want the air horn. You cannot just strip that away from us. So I'm going to need y'all to keep that air horn. All right, this is your boy Caleb Green. Shout from the 702. That's Las Vegas. Shout to them Golden Knights. We just made the playoffs. Best record in the league. Shout to y'all. Keep the air horn, please.
Okay, Caleb, this is something that's been on my mind a lot. I've talked to my friends about it. I've talked to colleagues about it. And I'm conflicted. The air horn seems very prevalent all over culture. I like to think that we stay one step ahead. And right now I feel like we're in step with everyone else. So I challenged Reg. I want to be part of the solution. You know what I mean? Not just pointing out the problems. I said, Reg, come up with something else. You're our audio engineer. Scour the earth for another sound that is celebratory. It connotes excitement and celebration the way that the air horn does. Find it for us, Reg. And guess how many sounds Reg sent me, emailed me. Guess how many sounds he emailed me to replace it with, Jalen?
0.
0. That's exactly right. We had that one for 4 years, Reg. I also can we play the first 5 seconds of Caleb's voicemail again? Because you can tell he pulls away in a very expensive vehicle. He's at a red light.
Jalen Jacoby.
You hear that? Play it again. Play it again.
What up, Doe? Jalen Jacoby.
That's a very expensive vehicle that just went past him, right?
Jalen Jacoby.
That's either his car or a car near him, but that's a $100,000 vehicle.
Yeah, that's a V8 that just pulled off.
For sure. Hopefully that's his car. Hopefully he lives in Vegas. He's probably got a nice car. You got to be flashy out there. Jalen, I want to get your thoughts on the air horn. It's something that's very important to me that I don't have the answer to.
I like to freshen up early morning yawning. It doesn't bother me, but when I hear you guys thinking about changing it, I'm indifferent about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of like Caleb. I feel like it's a staple of the show, but I also understand that we're trying to come with new and innovative things for the Fine program. I wouldn't be mad if we kept it.
I think we keep it. I just think we need to diversify. We need to keep challenging ourselves. I've been in this business a very long time, and it's easy to get stagnant. It's easy to do what you did yesterday. Sometimes you have to look in the mirror and challenge yourself and say, how can we grow and be better? I don't think we're ever going to lose the air horn, but I just think that we maybe should cut back and add some new sounds. Is that fair?
I was just watching 2 Chainz and Nas and a couple of people on Rapture on Netflix.
Great. All right. Next question that we have is from Twitter. This question comes from Kev. He said, how would you guys fix my Orlando Magic? Team hasn't sniffed the playoffs in years. Cheers in advance. Tough question.
Easily. I would try to come out with a blank check and give it to Mark Jackson or David Fizdale.
Okay.
Whatever particular order. You can have players on the roster, but you need leadership on the sideline. I think both of those guys are the level of coaches that can turn around a situation, develop talent, garner the respect of the fan base, and put the team in position to be successful, like Stan Van Gundy once did when he was their head coach.
See, the thing that bothers me about that, Jalen Rose, is Frank Vogel is kind of my guy because he looks a little bit like me. You know what I mean? Like, don't you think if I grew my hair a little bit, that I could walk into, if I wore a suit and grew up my hair a little bit, I could, and had a fake credential, I could probably walk into the Orlando arena as Frank Vogel and maybe even call a play. I could. You don't think I could do that?
Call a play right now.
4 up. That's all.
What is that?
Did you say 4 up?
What is that?
The high screen between the point guard and the 4.
Good job.
All right. Thank you. I got a little nervous when you asked a follow-up. You know I don't like follow-up questions, Jalen Rose. You know I don't like follow-up questions.
I noticed I asked you on the show, who playing at home? Somebody tell me in my ear.
No, they didn't tell me in my ear. I was 50% could be right. You know what I mean? So I just took it.
50-50 chance.
Yeah. I was I was right or wrong, Reg? Yeah. Oh, okay. Good. Because I knew the Pelicans were in L.A. I was like, we can fly back
Pelican fly.
Pelican fly back to Los Angeles. Let's listen to another voicemail. Reg, who you got?
Yo. Jalen and Jacoby. What up, though? It's your boy, Jarrell from Maryland. It's my birthday. Just wanted to, call and say what's up, show some love to the fam, as you all always do. I'm down right now with a broken foot. Of course, from hooping. You know how that goes sometimes. But the beauty of that is I'm able to telework and at the same time watch Jalen and Jacoby at 2 p.m. Shout out. And I got a question for you guys, particularly for Jalen. Jacoby, of course, your input is always welcome, my brother. But I wanted to ask you all about what do you think the current mecca of basketball is? And that's with no disrespect to, of course, the great New York. But I'm from the DMV. And in particular, we got a guy up there who's trying to share the crown as the best in the league, being that of Kevin Durant. We also got a good number of guys from the area who are balling out right now. Victor Oladipo, Jeff Green, Dennis Smith Jr., Mike Beasley, Markelle Fultz, just to name a handful. What do you guys think about that? And Reg, Shout out, Holmes. Shout out all day, baby. One love from the DMV. It's your boy Jarrell. Peace.
What up, though? We appreciate the call. Shout to the DMV, as he mentioned.
Shout out.
I like that lineup he put out there, but I'm going to throw an all-star level lineup to see who you're going to take, Jacoby. And again, this is off the top of the dome. Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, James Harden,
Paul George,
Lou
Williams. There's others. Oh no, Lou Williams isn't from there.
He's from Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm taking California right now.
That's good. You know, and to me, you could come up with a million answers, but when I think the mecca of basketball, it isn't like it used to be because the world, it's a globalization has taken over, and it's not just which area puts the best basketball players in the NBA. To me, it's like which area is basketball interwoven with the culture of the city the most. And for me, I would say New York City. Because it's not just who can put the best basketball players in the National Basketball Association. That calls it the mecca of basketball. I would say, which city do you associate with basketball? Which city do you, when you walk the streets, do you see more courts with more action on them? Which city do you see basketball being a bigger part of the society? Yes, I'm completely biased because I'm in New York City to pick a basketball player.
Yep. Correct. Let me refute your conversation as somebody that's not from the East Coast. What critics would long say is New York did a great job of building up their players to ultimately not be able to live up to that hype. There were players that did. Like one of the all-time greats is Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Mm-hmm. But name for me right now the players in the league from New York.
I would also claim Michael Jeffrey Jordan as someone who was born in Brooklyn. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. And
okay.
Lance Stevenson is from New York. Okay.
Okay. That's one. Lance.
we got Lance Stevenson. I'm claiming Kemba Walker. He's tri-state. Okay. And then there's some others that aren't coming to my mind right now. So there's that. Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson, Fort Green zone. Taj Gibson. Who else we got? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Lenny Cook's probably playing in the Philippines or something. No?
And here's the thing and again, I love New York City, but it's funny, as I shoot this from here right now, you said, name a city where you could go and it's just basketball interwoven in the community.
It sounded good, didn't it, though? Didn't it sound good?
I actually have an answer to your question. Indiana.
Yeah.
I bet it's more courts.
That came to mind.
In Indiana than it is in New York.
It's almost like what
per capita
sport do people care about more? Like, where is basketball the most important? And Indiana, it certainly came to mind as one of those places. It's weird. I have a friend from Indiana. He doesn't play sports. He hasn't lifted a weight in 20 years. But if you give him a basketball from 17 feet, good money. Like, he probably hasn't shot a basketball in 10 years. But you give him one, shout to David Chamberlain. Give him a shot from 17 feet, good money. Indiana, you just have a jump shot. I want to thank everybody for listening to this podcast. I want to remind everybody, if you want to join us, if you want to have the live Jalen and Jacoby experience, we will be in New York City, the mecca of basketball, on May 30th and April 1st. Nice venue, Gramercy Theater. Like, we're on the come up. I think we're on the come up. You can only get tickets through SeatGeek. So go to SeatGeek.com, get the SeatGeek app on your phone, and your first SeatGeek purchase, you get $20 off. That's a discount right there. Use the code Jacoby, Jacoby. Join us on the 30th of April and the 1st of May at the Gramercy Theater in New York City. Jalen, you excited for that one?
I'm truly excited, and while New York probably isn't producing the most NBA players currently, it's always going to be the mecca of hip-hop.
Facts. Appreciate that one. We'll be back tomorrow with another dope pod to step to. We're giving Jalen a day off. We have Katie Nolan co-hosting once again for a very special Women Crush Wednesday. Make sure you check that out. Jalen will be back on Thursday. Pods all 5 days this week. You know why, Jalen?
We're not done. Got to give the people